What's up guys, this is Vishu from Savage Camp and today we are just going to go through the basic commands that we use every day in Linux. So to start off with, when you are in a machine, you can either be logged in as a root or a normal user. So root user is the user who has all the permissions to do anything that he wants. Basically like a super administrator in Windows. Like he can change system files, he can install packages, he can remove packages, he can modify other users' files and packages. So the root user is the most powerful user in Linux. So if you want to know which user you are logged in as, you can do who am I, and this is going to tell you which user you are. So if I do user add Vishu, and it already exists. So if you want to change the password of any user, if you are that particular user, you can use passwd to change the password for that user only. But if you're root, you can change the password for root and for other users. So over here I can change password for Vishu and I can switch. So to switch user, you use the command su, which means switch user, and then you put a hyphen, which means interactive login. And then I'm going to tell Vishu. So I'm going to tell Linux kernel that I want to switch user to Vishu with an interactive shell. So there are two types of shell. One is interactive shell, the second is login shell. There are certain users that have login shells or that do not have login shells and have interactive shells or do not have interactive shells. Now that is out of the scope for this video. But if I switch user to Vishu, I don't have to enter the password because I am root, so I can do anything. So I'm trying to switch user to Vishu and I don't have to enter the password because I am root. So once I'm Vishu, I can run who am I and it is going to give me Vishu. So I can do echo. So echo means to print out something. So I can do echo hello world and it is going to print out hello world. But if I want to put this in a file, I would do file1. What this did is it printed out hello world in file1. So how do you see where file1 is? So I can do an ls, which is list, and it will show me the list of the directory that I am in. So which directory am I in? It's called pwd, which is path of working directory. So I'm in home Vishu, and if I do an ls, which means list, it will list my file. So if I do an ll, it will give me permissions of my file and it will give me who the owner of the file is, which group the owner belongs to or the file belongs to, and the name of the file and when it was modified or created. So since this command was run as Vishu, this file was created by Vishu for Vishu. So the owner is Vishu and the group is also Vishu. A thing you should always remember is whenever you add an user, Linux kernel is going to add a group with the same user unless you specify an other group you want the user to be part of. So if I do user add Mary, I cannot do it because I'm not root. So to switch to root, I'm going to do switch user minus root and I'm going to put the root password and I'm going to run who am I and I'm root. So now if I do user add Mary, it will add a user called Mary and you can see that if you do an ls on /home. So there's a directory for Mary which wasn't there. And if you want to check again, I can do user add Joe. And if I do an ls home, Joe would be added. So every time you create an user, it creates the home directory for the user in /home. But it also adds a group for it. And you can see that group in a file called slash etc groups. So if I do vim, instead of vim, if I do cat will show the contents of the file. So if I do a cat on etc group, you will see Vishu is part of Vishu and has a user ID of 1000. Mary, let me switch user to Mary. Before switching user to Mary, I need to do passwd Mary, and I'm going to give the same password and switch user to Mary and touch file 2. And if I do an ll, you will see the group is Mary. So every user will have his own group which it is part of. So if I do an id on Mary, it will say the group user id is 1001 Mary, the group id is 1001 Mary, and it belongs to groups Mary. So this is now done. If you do a clear, it would clear the screen. One thing you need to understand is changing direct. So I'm in slash home slash Mary. If I want to go to some other directory, I will do a cd, which stands for change directory. So I'll do cd slash temp. And if I do a pwd, I'm in slash temp. So if I do touch file 1, and if I do a pwd, I'm still in temp. So it created a file in temp. So this is how you change directory. So you can do cd slash temp, and if you don't know where you're instead of temp, let me go to home. And if you don't know where you want to go, or if you forget the next or if you forget the name of the directories inside it, you can do a double tab and it will give you the possible options inside home. I can do home Mary, and I can do an mkdir, which is make directory dir1. If I want to make multiple directories, I will put it in curly braces. Without space, I would do dir2, dir3, dir4, and dir5. And if I do an ll, you will see all the 5 directories over here. So this is how you create multiple directories. But what if you want to create multiple files? You do it using a command called touch, and you do file 1. So if I do an ls, there's file 1. So if I do cat of file 1, it shouldn't give us anything because it's empty. So I can do echo Vishu into file 1, and I can cat file 1, and you will see Vishu in there. So if I want to add echo of savage camp, but I don't want to replace Vishu, I can do a double greater than sign, which means append to file 1. So if I do a cat, you will see Vishu and savage. And if I do savage camp 2019 into file 1, this is going to append it below. So let me clear the screen, and you can see it over here. So it keeps adding to the file if you have double greater than signs, but if you have single, it is going to override, so you will lose everything. So this we have covered ls, which is list. Ll is like a detailed list, so you can do ls minus l, which will give you the same thing as ll. So ls minus l, these things are called switches. So you can also do ls minus al to show the hidden files. So anything starting with dot is a hidden file. So you can do, let me switch back to root, and I can clear the screen. So when I'm in Vishu, what I can also try is doing touch file 2, touch file 3, touch file 4, and I'm going to do a mkdir dir1. So right now I have dir1, so I'm going to do touch file 4. I'm going to put this inside dir1, and I'm going to put file 3, file 2, file 1. So there's one more command called tree, which will, oh, tree is not installed. So I can do su minus root and Vishu, and the tree command basically just let me see yum what provides tree. So it will tell me what will give me the tree command, like which package I have to install to get the tree command. So it is in the base repo, so I just have to do yum install tree -y is yes. So once this completes, I can clear the screen and do a tree right now, and you will see it in a more visual format. And the one last thing that I wanted to show you is the copy and the move command. So if I go into directory 1 and if I try to copy file 1, so I will do copy and then its source and destination, which means that you do cp and file 1, and I'm trying to move it into /temp. So what this does is, oh, I have to do file 1. So what this does is it will copy it, so you can find file 1 over here, and you can also find file 1 in /temp. So this is basically copying. So you make a copy of the file, but when you move a file, what you're doing is you're also renaming it, or you're kind of moving. So if I do move file 2 to temp, I'm actually moving this file to from current directory to temp directory, but it is doing internally is it is changing the metadata of the file. Now that is too complex and out of the scope for this video, but you can also remember that if you want to rename a file, you can still do it using the move command. So move is going to do file 2 to temp new file. What this is going to do is basically change the metadata for file 2 and call it as new file. So let me show you. If I do echo hello world and move it to /temp new file, and if I do a cat on /temp new file, it says hello world. Now if I run the same command and if I do this new file and I do this as file 2, and if I do a cat on file 2, you will see hello world, because what it basically did was it just renamed new file to file 2 but didn't change the contents. They are in the same directory, but it's just like renaming. So that's it for this video, guys. I think I've covered most of the basic commands that you're going to use, and keep subscribing so you can keep getting everyday notifications of the videos being uploaded. And let me know how you like this video. If you think I missed any commands, let me know in the comment section.